where we are right now and prioritizing and how to get back together and regroup after the first semester's ended and after our much needed break that I hope everyone enjoyed. At this time, I'm going to have Maya come on and share, and I will go on mute.
Thanks, Crystal. Do you mind navigating the slides for me? I have oh, and there's some animations on them, so you'll just click through. But hi everyone. Good afternoon. Happy Wednesday. Thank you guys so much for being here. Today we really wanted to just kind of go back to square one to your action planning guide to kind of ground you for semester two and have you all redirected to the this resource so that you are using it during your monthly meetings to stay on track and just to kind of give yourselves an idea of where you may be. And if you aren't at quarters two and three, which we'll be talking about today in your action planning guide, if you're still working through quarter one items, that's totally fine as well. The main thing is that you know the action planning guide is there for your resource, and it's really just something to help you all stay on track and to make sure that you know the things that you can be doing and focusing on during your monthly meetings with your MTSS-B teams in your buildings. So today we want to make sure that you're using the action planning guide to create any action items for list for Q3, or it could be for Q2, Q1, just an action items list if you need to do one. We also want to focus a bit on how to reteach behavior skills after extended school breaks and give you guys just some tips and tricks and encouragement as you all are re-entering the buildings. I know last week was probably your first full week back to your buildings, but just giving your faculty and staff some tips and encouragement as the students come back from those long breaks. And this is great for any time, any extended break throughout the school year, and then some effective reinforcers of school-wide and classroom norms. So of course, this is your action planning guide. You've hopefully you're familiar with what this looks like. We're just going to go through a few reminders for this semester and what's going on now. Um, you get a big fat gold star if you're here because one of the first things on the action planning guide is coming to our Echo series. So thank you guys for being here. That starts today. So if you're here, you can check that off. I love checking off a checklist. So you can go ahead and check that off your action planning guide list. You are here. One of the main things that we want to encourage you all to do is take this information from this session and redeliver it to the rest of the school team that's not here. That's going to be our biggest push and reminder as you all are coming to our Echo series is please remember to redeliver the information to the people who aren't here so they know where to find it. And if they have any questions, you can redirect them either to your BAS contact or to your school team coordinators or your DBCs. So we want to make sure that you all are looking through there. And Crystal, you can click, there's some arrows. So yep, there's the first one. The second big one is our SAS data collection. So hopefully you all are collecting SAS data or beginning to start planning that. If you haven't had your first January meeting for back to school, hopefully your MTSS-B team has a game plan for um, explaining what the SAS is to your school, and also a plan for collecting the data so we get really great response rates this time around so we can really see how you all are growing in all of the areas that we took the SAS back when you first started your partnership with us. So we love to see how you all are moving forward with that. If you haven't submitted your numbers, your school faculty numbers to us, we'd love to have those so you guys can go ahead and start collecting the SAS data. As a reminder, that is those dates are open. The SAS opened, the window opened January 1st, and you have all the way till February 13th. So you're still in a great place to go ahead and come up with a plan to do some great SAS collection. The next um, thing we want to remind you all to be thinking about in those monthly meetings is providing your professional learning and coaching on your tier one MTSS-B practices. And those practices are really from your practices inventory data. So if you're still digging through that and sharing those results with your staff members, this is a great time during your during your MTSS-B team meetings to come up with a plan of professional learning. We have all of our asynchronous modules on our website that will help support that professional learning. It could be during your PLCs, your staff meetings, grade levels, however you all want to deliver your professional learning to your school teams, so that they can start really focusing on some of the practices that may have been areas of growth for them on your practices inventory. And then thinking about that as we move on to your SAS data, because your SAS data will also be giving you some information about professional learning. So it's a great time to recalibrate, especially since we're at the beginning of the school year and those fresh meetings. We want you to think about how the professional learning will be looking as you move forward this semester. If you've already targeted an area, you can start thinking about, okay, where do we want to go next? Let's look back at our data and revisit some other areas of growth that we have, and we'll make sure to get some professional learning plans in place for that as well. Next, we have teaching and reteaching your behavior norms, school-wide and classroom norms for your matrices. I know you guys have been in school already for a week, and sometimes when we get back to school, we may just want to get going with our academics and just get started right back where we left off. But we want to make sure that we are reviewing those norms from a school-wide perspective and a classroom perspective, so that your students are excited about using those contextually appropriate behaviors, and you're excited about them. Your staff and faculty are excited about reviewing them. You all created beautiful matrices at the beginning of the school year. Some of you all have those posted all over your buildings. So it's a great time to revisit those, redirect your students back to those, have some time to revisit those and reteach those as well. Um, can't say this enough. We really, really think it's important that you all are meeting monthly, so that you all can talk about all of these items that I'm reviewing right now. Your action planning guide can be your roadmap to those meetings. Go back again to quarters 1 or 2, wherever you all are falling on the action planning guide. Just pick up there and move forward. Any progress is progress. And so we know that you all are at different places in this journey. And it doesn't really matter where you are as long as you're moving forward and keeping the work going forward with your teams. But the only way to do that is to meet so that you all can have items. And these items here on the action planning guide can go straight to your agenda, and you can then move forward with taking notes and assigning some action items based on your action planning guide tasks that should be completed. And lastly, we want to make sure that you are communicating with your families and the communities and your caretakers that are supporting you all in the work that you're doing. That could be shooting out a social media post on your school website that reminds parents and caregivers of your school-wide norms. Teachers can do that, Class Dojo, or however you all communicate with your teachers. I mean your families. It's great for them to be using the same language at home, and it's a great time to remind your faculty to reinvigorate your parents and your families also, because everyone's super busy, and the holidays get crazy. It's been a crazy flu and cold season. So just getting everyone back on the same page, from your faculty to students and also those caregivers and family and community, is a great way to jumpstart the school year as you guys are coming back from your break. I think I have another animation on here. Oh, there. And then yep. So what we want to really focus on, and what I really wanted to target today also, is reteaching those norms. So we're going to go over a few tips and tricks, and we want to focus on that a little bit today, as you guys, and these are great things to share with your staff as you all start back into the school year, and to really just get your staff excited about coming back and picking up this new framework that you all have worked so hard to create in the last 18 months. We're really proud of your work. So we want to make sure that we keep focusing on it and bringing out its importance in your buildings. So before we move to that, what's one action item from the action planning guide that you want to discuss during your next MTSS-B meeting? So you can pop it in the chat. I know we wanted to make sure we were reminding you all of the things that you could be targeting this semester as you get back into your buildings. Do you want to talk about professional learning delivery? Do you want to talk about reteaching the matrix and having maybe a school-wide event that really gets students and staff excited as they come back to school? Are you talking about let's make sure we're having our meetings? Do we need to get that on our action items list? So why don't we get a few of you all to pop a few things that you want to target as the semester comes back, as you all are coming back from the semester for your MTSS-B team meetings? Or you can unmute. We love to hear your lovely voices as well. So either way, in the chat or unmute. Oh, professional learning on opportunities to respond, continue to find ways to teach behavior norm skills in classrooms. Thank you, Jeffrey. Reteaching the matrix, looking at the data for implementation with fidelity from all of our teachers and classes, document the meetings on the forms provided, reteaching school-wide norms in matrix. Thank you guys so much. We'll wait for one more just for fun. I know someone else has an item they want to target as as you guys are coming back to school. Oh, there's one. Oh, there's two. Review a plan for conducting observations, reteaching school-wide and classroom norms. Thank you guys so much for sharing. You can continue to put those in. We love to see what you all are working on in the buildings because we don't get to see you in action often. So thank you guys for sharing what you all have going on in your buildings. Another reteaching norms. Great. Perfect. All right, we can keep moving, Crystal. All right, so let's review some of our reteaching behavior norms, just tips and tricks. So the first thing I really wanted to impress upon you is to start with your staff. They have to be excited about communicating these classroom and school-wide norms as well. They are the heartbeat of your building. They are with your students all day. So we want your teachers to be excited about what's going on, sending an email or communication prior to the students returning or even over the weekend. Hey guys, let's have a concerted effort, a joint effort to really drive home and review our classroom and school-wide norms, encouraging staff and faculty to develop a plan to review them and making sure they're reviewing them as well so they're comfortable and familiar with some of your new norms. Sometimes some of our schools may have just created their matrices and posted them before the break. So it's maybe new to not just your students, but definitely to your staff as well. So we want to make sure that, especially if it's something new, and I know some of my school teams are just now have been able to post and make visuals of their matrices. This is a great time to celebrate those new additions to your buildings and getting the students familiar with seeing them and reading them and making sure they're not just some of your wallpaper, but we want them to be actionable and something that's a living, breathing part of your school culture. So what are some ways your staff was prepared for or will be prepared to begin reteaching and reviewing behavior norms after winter break? So do you guys have any ideas? I know some of our schools also have had big pep rallies and things like that as they've come back to the building. So does anyone want to share something exciting that they were able to implement or do in their buildings that excited and prepared their faculty to come back and which then trickled down to students, of course, being excited to be there and excited about um, what's going on from a behavior standpoint. I don't want to call any names because, but I do know something very exciting one of our schools did. So, oh, professional learning with teachers during the PD day at school. That was great. Expectation of bringing back data to PLC of classroom data. Yep, I love that. Thank you, Kathy. We sent out an email reminder to reshow the video we made for our school that taught school-wide the matrices. Perfect. That's great. I love that. I'll wait for one more. Love the prompting. I do too, Sarah. Let's see if we have one more. Okay, we'll keep moving forward. You can still continue to put in the chat if you like, but thank you guys for sharing. The other thing I wanted to really impress upon you all is to have students feel good about coming back into the building. Oh, as Kathy also said, their ELA students are making videos for the hallway and restroom expectations to be shown during morning meetings with the school. That's super exciting. Yes. And I love student voice and getting students involved. It really helps the bleed the culture of all of those norms into not just your staff, but your students as well. That's great student involvement. So we want them to be excited about seeing you. So using their names, giving a high five, greeting them with enthusiasm, asking them about their break. They have to know that you're excited to be back in the building also. And sometimes like coming back is hard. You've been relaxing and you're like, okay, here we go. Here goes semester two. But if you're excited, it can feed into your students being excited. And it also helps to build those relationships with your students that need to continue to be cultivated all school year. So greeting them with enthusiasm, asking them about their breaks, giving them a high five, having them just to be excited about the building and being there. Because if we're dragging, our students can start to drag too. So we want to make sure they're excited about that. Um, so definitely welcoming the students back with enthusiasm. And then we want to make sure that you all are, when you're reteaching your norms to your students, once they've been welcomed back with enthusiasm, to remember our same 4 steps that we've taught you for initially teaching your norms. Teaching the norm using explicit instruction, then providing a model, practice, and reinforce. These steps are not just for your initial teaching, but we use this all throughout our school year. This helps to keep a structured way of showing our students the expectation. It allows you to provide a model, they can practice, and then you're reinforcing what they're doing as they're moving through the building throughout the day. Just an I do, we do, you do kind of situation also where the students are having an opportunity, especially you may have had to tweak some of your expectations a little bit over the break, and that this is a great time to practice what that may look like as well if it's something new or a different nuance to what you've taught before. It's just really important also so your students understand why there's an expectation in place in the first place. Like why aren't we running? Why aren't we why aren't we just running to the door to get ready to transition? Things like that, so they understand safety and all of those as well, as you very well know. Oh, and here's some other examples. Providing examples and non-examples are great for your students, allowing them to role play. I love the idea in the chat of the students making videos also. Whenever your students are involved and take ownership of the work, I don't care if they're in second grade or in 11th grade, it really helps them to your norms to become a part of your culture, and it's not just something else that it's just not just a rule that's put in place. So we really want to make sure that they're able to do that. And we have a quick little video that one of this is a I think this is a secondary example also that I wanted to share. Oh, we can't hear it.
Back in class, but this kid applied to any. Let's talk about classroom management coming back from a long break. So I'm just coming back from winter break. Today was the first day back in class, but this kid applied at any time that you're coming back from a long break. Classroom management can be difficult, but here's the thing. You have to expect it on the front end because kids have been gone for a while. And anyone that's taught for any length of time knows that kids come back from a 3-day weekend and can't remember their locker combination. In what world are they going to remember all your rules, policies, procedures, and so on? So here's how you do it. It is walking kids through each step of what you're doing that day. So if I am meeting my students at the door like I do every day and shaking every hand as kids come into the classroom. The kids come into the classroom and I'm reminding them that up on the board is the agenda for the day. I'm reminding them that now they're taking out their journals. They have 5 minutes to complete the journal entry. I read the journal entry to make sure that everyone understands it. Now they have 5 minutes to answer the journal entry. Then after that, we're going to jump into the next thing. I'm going to remind them how we do transitions and how quickly they have to get them done. We then transition into the next thing. And so every step of the way, I have to remind students, but here's the gig. Leaders are repeaters. We need to remind students all the time anyway. So it's just getting on the front end, not being mad about it, not being upset about it, and instead taking your time with the students and knowing that it might take a minute to get back, but you will absolutely get back. It's also worth mentioning that you're not the only class they have all day, probably. If they have multiple other classes each day, like my students do, that's 7 or 8 different classes that kids have to remember each teacher's particular way of doing things. So cut them a little slack, cut yourself a little slack. It'll make your week back way better. Peace.
So I just thought that was great. I really wanted to share a secondary example too, because I know we give a lot often of elementary examples, but I know our secondary students really have to focus in and dial in and lock in when they're trying to remember all of their class changes, lockers, moving through the building. They have school-wide expectations and norms. They have each classroom has their own norms. And also to give you all permission to give yourself grace as your students are coming back. Their brains are like recalibrating, your brain is recalibrating, but it's a team effort. So I just wanted to give that as a little bit of not just an example, but just encouragement that it takes time for them to get back in the swing of things, maybe a couple of weeks. But I love leaders are repeaters. So, hey, they repeat what they see over and over again. So just keep encouraging them and making that a part of your school culture and language. And then just reinforcing some of the norms as you guys come back, pre-K to 12th grade, positive feedback is never lost on anyone, especially if it's specific, you're using specific praise, you're including feedback of why following the norm was helpful. Thank you so much for not running so that, you don't knock anyone over in the hallway. Short-term incentives for classes, having a school-wide competition. I know one of the comments talked about the grade levels were going to take a norm and make a video for each norm and show it during announcements. That's great. Just getting everyone involved, class or student created goals. Have your student or your classrooms create goals for themselves around your norms. I think that's a great way to keep them involved, and it's not just a faculty or teacher led initiative. And then keeping reminders during our daily announcements so that it's coming from the top down. Everyone's involved, everyone's locked in, and everyone's on the same page. So we're hoping that as you all come back to school, number one, for your MTSS-B meetings, you're using your action planning guide just to guide your work to help you guys have agenda items and goals as you are pushing the work forward wherever you are in the process. And also that you're able to reestablish and set up the norms, the behavior norms in your building so that your culture and climate continues to improve as you guys move into the spring, because we know that spring and summer can get nice and exciting in buildings. So we want to make sure that you all are able to do that as well. If you guys have questions, let me know. But we're excited about the work you're doing, and we are grateful for the work that you're doing in your buildings. We know that it's not easy, but slow and steady wins the race. So thank you guys so much.